today at just some standard membership reports. We're going to look at the birth date and the anniversary list in membership. Now we are, go ahead and open up membership here. We are showing you the most current version of the program. Our cloud customers already have 22, and the first wave of emails for desktop customers went out yesterday. We do not send new versions out all in one fell swoop email all at once because we want to be able to handle the call volume that comes in if you guys need help. So we are kind of mimicking now what other software companies do, and we're sending the new versions or updates out in waves. So if you haven't received it and you need it right now, give us a call and we can shoot you an email with the new version. But if you haven't received it yet, you will be receiving it soon in one of the waves of emails going out. But we are showing you now the most current version, 22.19.1. So let's go ahead in membership and let's take a look at some of the standard reports. Now what I mean by standard reports is canned reports, pre-programmed reports. They're a little different than just clicking on reports. I also forgot to mention what I have material in front of me that I'm using today to follow along with. It's from our Membership 204 book, but you do not need that workbook to follow along and understand what I'm showing you. But if you're interested in printed material, this is from the most current version 22 workbook, M204. Starts on page 31 through page 37. So standard reports are reports we can access by up along the top, clicking on Reports Export, and then going to birthday, anniversary. Those are the two we're going to look at, or group skills is also another standard or programmed or canned report. If you click, now I get this on phone calls a lot, so I want to show you. If I click Reports, that opens up my report screen. I've made my choice of what type of report I want. I can't now go up to birthday and choose Reports Directory Export. I mean, I can, but it's not going to set me in the birthday report. I've already chosen my report screen. To get to the standard or canned reports, you need to click Reports Export along the top. And notice nothing changes. All it does is, if I'm on a different word along the top, Reports Export changes the buttons I see below, and then I can choose birthday and then Reports Directory Export. Notice when I do that, it pops right up with birth date selected in the upper left. So if you go to regular reports, notice it just brings you to step 1. It does not populate birth date automatically. So if you want the birth date or anniversary list, you're not going to click Reports in the middle. You are going to click on Reports Export. And if you notice under birthday, we have some different things we can do here. We're going to look at the report, but you could do a birthday report, directory, or an export. You could do birthday labels or an email. Same for anniversary. We have the same 3 choices. And under groups or skills, you could choose groups classes and see those same 3 choices, or skills interest and see those same 3 choices. All right, we're going to look at the birth date list, and that's used a lot, oftentimes to print out birth date lists for newsletters or send cards, and it's preset. If we go in through birth date, there's also a basic columnar layout that has their name and their birth date, or for their anniversary, their name, their anniversary, and how many years the couple's been married. So let's go ahead. We're going to look again at the birth date list. We'll go up to Reports Export, Birthday, and choose Reports Directory Export. It already is filled in. It sees from my computer that we're in the month of November, so it puts the month it sees on your computer, so it's doing birth date in November. Now maybe we would like to change that. We can change that birth date. If this is what we need, we can just click plus selection, and we see it adds down here, birth date is in the month of November. Let me go ahead. I'm going to remove that. Now, if you're following along in your book, I'm on 32. We can change that criteria if we like. Let me show you fresh from the opening screen. So if I go to birthday and then Reports Directory Export, excuse me. Here we've selected a specific month. We have different operators, and it defaults to is in month, but maybe I want it to be between certain date ranges. So I could choose between, and I could type in the box. I prefer to click the down arrow and find what I need on my calendar. And then I could put a date range in here and find people, you know, maybe for certain ages I'm looking for, find people whose birth date falls within a certain date range. I could also do it based on certain year. If I wanted for an entire maybe 3-year span, I could change my year back, do from 2016, it's today the 5th, to today. So I could do a whole 3-year span. Maybe you want to find people who do not have a birth date. In that case, we would choose right up here, we'd click in not, and then put our operator in is blanks, meaning the birth date is, well, if we want people without a birth date, we'd say is blank. If we only want people with a birth date, regardless of month, day, or year, we could say is not blank. Sometimes people won't give you their year, and maybe you put a question mark for the year. You could ask for birth date is incomplete, meaning they have something in that field, but it's not the month, the day, and the full year. Maybe you only want certain months, and that's where we already did in month, but we could change that. Maybe we want the September through the end of the year. So we could ask for a range of months instead of just one specific month. Oh, and then the last thing there was is incomplete. Now is before or is after, that's kind of obvious. You know, if you choose that, then the birth date would be after or before. Or we could ask for a specific birthday by choosing is on. All right, so once we choose what we need for our birth dates, I'm going to go back to is in month of December. So we already did our November newsletter, so we're working on December. Once we make our selection, then you click plus selection. And if you need to, you could add more criteria. You could click and or, and then go add more criteria. We're just going to leave it at birth date in the month of December. If you were concerned with numbers or giving, you could change what you see in the upper right. We are not concerned with donations, so we're going to leave everything alone there. If you only want certain categories, maybe we just want our members, we could just check members, or you could leave everything checked if you want to look at everyone. Below here, we can include inactive people as well. We don't have the ability to choose membership groups or donation individual or group givers, because membership groups are the groups or classes you set up. Those groups and classes can give, but they wouldn't have a birth date. Same for individual or group givers. They would not have a birth date over in donations, because you can only record name, address, giver number, their money, email, and phone number. All right. So once we've selected what we need for the birth date, then along the bottom, we just click OK. Now, the screen behind here, if you haven't seen 22, it looks a little different. Instead of opening to this screen, the query screen, version 22 reports have changed slightly. Don't panic. Everything's still there that you saw before. The only big change is now you have to click this button to get to your query screen, and then you can put an and or on this query builder screen. And the nice thing is you can click this add pledging giving and add multiple lines of giving pledging criteria as well. So this is a good thing. A lot of people like to query multiple things for giving and pledging, and the giving pledging used to be a tab right up here beside accounts, and it only allowed you one giving pledging choice. So this gives you more flexibility, more search or query options, and it's really not a big change other than you click buttons now to get to this query builder or to add giving and pledging, and you can add multiple lines. We are not concerned with the donations at all, so we're not going to add any giving and pledging, but you can do that. That is there if you need to add giving or pledging criteria. Or if you are concerned with looking at giving and pledging to a campaign or accounts, you can click on that tab. We are not going to do any of that. We're going to move now to the Sort tab. On the Sort tab, the birth date list defaults to sort by birth date first, and then after birth date, if multiple people had the same birth date, it would then sort alphabetically. And then lower left, it defaults to sort first by year, then month or day, chronologically. But you have other sort choices for your date fields. If you'd like, you could have it sort first by month, then day, and then year. Or month and day and the year doesn't affect the sort. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll click next. And I'm on 34 if you're following along in the book. And that takes me to step 2. Step 2 hasn't really changed much. You have a new tab up here, giving pledging range. We're not concerned. We're not adding anything for giving and pledging. So we're going to leave that alone. Organization info, we're not doing anything there. We're going to leave that alone. Here, upper left, it defaults to basic and the basic columnar report. Now, that's different than your generic reports where the basic columnar is name, address, and phone number. In the birthday and the anniversary reports, going to these preset standard reports, the template for the basic columnar is a little different. Let's click print. Well, first up here, you can choose any report options in the upper right. If you want the year and birth date, make sure you check that, or you could only include it for children if you prefer. Then if you want to do any grouping or page break options, or if you decide a different layout and you're including phones or emails or addresses that you don't want to print, you can make your choices there. We're going to go ahead and click print and bring up the report. And the report, nice little report just showing the first and last name with their birth date. And then below that, there's a count with the summary of the criteria that we entered. So if you're ready to print that, you just hit print in the upper left and send that to your printer. So really nice preset birth date report and nice layout that's already preset for you when you get there with that basic columnar report. Let's go ahead and look at the anniversary report. It functions very similarly. One of the things I can't show you here is because I've already preset my anniversary or my marriage date field. If you look in the book, or if the first time you go to open your anniversary report, it's going to ask you to identify in your church windows what field you created to record the marriage date. Is it marriage date, anniversary date? But if you look in the book, there's an image of it. It's just a little drop down where you'll select the field that records the actual marriage date in your database, because that's something you as a user define. So let's go ahead. We'll go to Reports, Anniversary, Reports Directory Export. Again, if it's your first time, you'll define what that marriage field is and click OK, and that will go away. And it brings up our Edit People selection. You don't have to click the button. It automatically on the marriage or anniversary report brings you to the Edit People selection screen with marriage date already filled in. And it sees it's November from the computer, so it puts November. We'll go ahead. We want to look at December. So I'll ask for December and December. Now, two things that the anniversary report looks for. It looks for a couple who have been identified as a directory report order of primary and the spouse as a directory report order of secondary. So that is why that's a required field. It doesn't automatically put someone in the directory unless you check include on directory, but it helps you for reports, and it's necessary for the anniversary report. And also both of the people must be not marked inactive. If someone has passed away and you've marked them inactive, then the other person will not automatically appear on the anniversary report if that other person's spouse is marked inactive. Because again, it looks for two individuals in the family with the marriage date, and one is primary and one is secondary. All right, so we have marriage date in December. We're not going to change anything over on the side to the right. We're just going to click plus selection and then OK to take us back to step 1. Now on step 1, we could change accounts, or we could add some giving or pledging criteria. We are not concerned with any of that. We want just to find those anniversaries that are in the month of December. Now if we click on the Sort tab, it automatically, for the marriage or anniversary report, I keep calling it marriage report, defaults to sort by marriage date. And for sort field 2, if there's multiple people with the same marriage date, it would then sort secondly by alphabetically. I forgot to mention on the birthday report, you can change your sort fields if you like. You just click the down arrow and choose whatever field you'd like it to sort by. Also, because this is a date sort, we have the option open up in the lower left where we can choose to sort by year first or by month. And once we made our choices there, we just go ahead and click Next. And this will take us to step 2, where below we can see the different people who meet the criteria. And we're just going to bring up that basic calendar report. And I forgot to mention, we could do any of these other items if you wanted to create a custom report, mail merge, export this out, create an all information report, a directory on just the 2 people, or export, a directory export. We could do any of these, but we're really just looking at what the book is showing today. So if you need further instruction on those, the general reports book does show you how to do all those different things in reporting. We don't go into those for the standard reports because it's already covered in the general reports. It would be done the same way as in the general reporting. All right, so we're going to choose basic, and in our list we have another report we made, status report, but we want that template, the basic calendar report. So I'm going to go ahead and click print. Can make any choices on those report options or grouping, page break, or unlisted. Now we see the names, the marriage date of the spouses, and how many years they were married. So that's a really nice report. It pulls both the first and last names of both the husband and wife, and gives you their marriage date with the years married. So really that's everything I wanted to show you. Pretty nice reports, pretty easy I think once you see how they work. Just a reminder, do not go right to reports in the middle, because once you've done that, you've opened the report screen. You can't go up then and say, oh, well, I want this report to be birthday, reports, anniversary, or reports directory export. You are still on general reports, or the more generic or more general, more broad report, versus going up to birthday and then reports directory export. That automatically opens up with the birth date. Same with that anniversary report, opens right up to marriage date. Now, again, we are at the end of what I wanted to show you, but do know you do have that groups or skills report up here, and those are just similar, where you can go in and choose a group or a skill, group, class, or skills interest. But the material we're looking at today was just through page 37, the birthday and the anniversary report.